Hello, welcome back to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry. Today I'm going to talk to you about another film that I believe is severely underrated, currently available on Netflix, and it is a Netflix original, which I was surprised. I didn't think this film, I think the ratings on this film is a little bit disappointing. This film is a complete surprise that I believe you have to check out immediately if you're looking for something that's a little bit different and original. The film, I would say, I mean, yeah, it's kind of original. It has a unique way of, I guess, capitalizing a horror, action horror film. I think it's one of the best action horror films I've ever seen, and one of the best films you can check out on Netflix. The film I'm recommending, and it's underrated as fuck. Blood Red Sky, starring I'm not gonna pronounce these names. I'm sorry. It's a German film. It's a German action horror thriller, German British film. It's a story about a group of terrorists that try to hijack a flight overnight, and a mysteriously terminally ill woman turns out. And a terminally ill woman is caught in the crossfire along with her son. And it turns out that this woman is a vampire, where she basically has to take down using her vampire abilities to take down these hijacked criminals, and while also protecting her son, and possibly now having to protect, or at least try to engage with the rest of the passengers. And this film straight up is amazing. You don't know where it's gonna go. The movie is seriously, it's a build up of spectacle after spectacle after spectacle of this character, this woman. I think her name in the film, I don't know. I don't her the lead actress name is Perry. I don't know her last name. She plays a mom who one night, and it shows in flashbacks, who stumbles upon a house who gets bitten by a vampire, and then she tries to find a cure. For years, find a cure. Her husband unfortunately passes away during a vampire encounter. The movie doesn't really dwell into the lore of it. It just kind of just gives you a premise of what happens, and then there you go, puts you in the moment of what is happening. And really, when she starts to succumb to the physical form of a vampire, it starts to get more interesting after that. She is able to retain her consciousness for a good chunk of the film, but as the more she stays in that form, you notice she start to lose a little bit of her humanity, and it's only a matter of time before she becomes a full-fledged vampire. Now, later in the film, where these groups of thugs eventually, they follow the whole terrorist kidnapping plot of crashing a plane and idea, but when they figure out that they're dealing with a real life vampire, they start to freak out and trying to figure out how to deal with it. And one of them actually tries to figure out ways to take on this woman, the vampire. And one of them actually tries to get some ideas in her head where he himself tries to steal her blood. And that's another thing that our protagonist has to do. She needs to make sure that nobody tries to capture or take her blood. Otherwise, they themselves could also turn into a vampire. And it shows that in the film, which I won't spoil too much of it because I highly encourage you guys to check out. And how the film starts is the film starts basically after the events of the movie, and it flashbacks to what happens in the film. it's a typical way to start a movie, but the way that they set it up is highly engaging, and it's something to where I think they really capitalize on this premise of what if a vampire is on our good side. I know they did with Blade, but what if a vampire is a good antagonist, but it is treated to like a disease, like a cancerous disease, and over time it starts to. I mean, it's done in other vampires before, but the way that they do it here, I think they've done an interesting take on it, and they don't exaggerate it with a lot of the action set pieces on it. They really capture the horror. They found a balance, a good balance of capturing and balancing horror and action into one scene, or actually in throughout the duration of the movie. Especially in the action scenes, there's still a little bit of horror elements into it where you feel the horror in this, but you're also rooting for the protagonist to try to make it out and trying to figure out if her situation is going to get worse. And I'm going to tell you, this film, I believe it's a vampire. It's Air Force One, but with vampires in it. That's basically what I could really describe this movie. And oh man, I heard, wow, they might do a sequel to this. That would be interesting if they do a sequel to this, because the movie wraps up in a unique way. And it ends to where it doesn't seem like a sequel could be made, but who knows? I mean, it could be there are other stories. Maybe they could focus more on the lore of the vampires in that universe. We'll see. But I'm gonna tell you right now, this is one of the best Netflix originals I've seen. For those who haven't heard about it or haven't seen it, you're missing out on a good vampire film, because I'm telling you, this is one you cannot miss. Blood Red Sky. Have you seen it? Comment below. Let me know if you have, and let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.